so much wrong with this message. And I would say in the first place, this echoes a conversation that Shapiro had with Tucker Carlson 5 years ago, where Tucker Carlson said, you know, there's a feeling in America that things are changing too rapidly, that we are being crushed by the creative destruction of the market, the technological innovation, immigration, free trade. It's all altering society at a breakneck pace, and it feels like Americans in the heartland, in between the coasts, are sort of an afterthought. The industry's being hollowed out, the neighborhoods are being altered, the people are being displaced. He said, and people feel like they want to live in the town where their ancestors are buried, where 3 or 4 generations or beyond of their ancestors are buried. And they're being told, you know, just go work on an oil rig or something. And Shapiro says, well, you're not promised that. He said, all you're promised in America is the adventure of a lifetime. He got excoriated for this 5 years ago. This is still his ideology. So the message to all the people that voted for democratic socialism in New York is, if you can't afford to live in the nation's biggest city, well, get lost. You grew up in New York and you can no longer afford to live in New York? Well, get lost. Go move somewhere else. Go move to Ohio or something. Go move wherever. If you can't afford to live in LA and San Francisco and Miami, Chicago, well, go move somewhere else. That's what America's about. You don't deserve to live where you grew up. Now, let's just say first and foremost, is the irony lost on anybody that this is coming from a Jewish Zionist who says that if Israel gets in any trouble, that America needs to go and defend them? That if Israel gets into any trouble, America has to send Israel taxpayer money? So let me get this straight. If you're in America, born in America, you're an American citizen, and you're born in New York City or Chicago, the place where your ancestors lived, if you can't afford to live there, you can't afford housing or transportation or cost of living, you got to get lost then. But if you're a Jew and you live in Israel and you have missiles flying at you, well, then the solution is America has to go and bail you out? In other words, the American taxpayer has no obligation to bail out the American people. The American government has no obligation to the American people. Americans are not entitled to live in America. But Israel is entitled to all of that.
That's insane, right? And this is the reason why many people like Nick Fuentes. He is speaking some facts. And do you know who should get lost? Ben Shapiro himself. Who is this guy to tell us where we should live, what we should do? Meanwhile, this guy is loyal to another country himself. I'm so tired of Ben Shapiro. And believe me, Nick will roast Ben Shapiro. He is not done yet. But I just want to say, Ben Shapiro is such a clown, such a snake. He is acting like this conservative, American first guy. He is acting like he is one of us. This guy doesn't even like the United States. He is loyal to another country. Who does he even think to tell us what we should do? He doesn't even like the United States. He's not even loyal to the United States. And this guy thinks that he actually has to say anything about us. I'm getting so tired of Ben Shapiro. Please put a 1 in the comments if you're tired of Ben Shapiro. I'm really curious if you guys also are so sick of people like Ben Shapiro.
If you're an American and it's not comfortable for you in New York, hey man, get lost. Don't expect the American government to help you. But if you're a Jew in Israel and you're in trouble, well then America has to send you missiles and fight your wars and give you money. Really? Israel's healthcare is paid by America. Israel's defense is paid for by America. Israel's existence in the Middle East is guaranteed by America. The land quite literally was promised to them, and we are the guarantors of the promise. But Americans are not guaranteed their own country. Americans are not guaranteed their own city, their own town by their government. Really? This is the problem. This is what we're talking about. This is why we are not happy with the arrangement. Ben Shapiro is a guest here. He's a child of immigrants, recent immigrants. He married an Israeli. Do you know that about Ben Shapiro? Do you know that his wife is not even American? His wife is Israeli, which means his children are Israeli. So he is truly a foreigner. What's the problem, Ben? An American wasn't good enough for you? You had to marry someone from another country, in another country? He had to move to Florida where there's all Jews there. He moved to a neighborhood, of course, South Florida is all Jewish. What's the problem? You couldn't find an American woman, couldn't get married in America? You didn't like Nashville? This is the problem. Let's spell out the problem very simply. For the Jews, they are blood and soil nationalists. It has to be Jews by blood in Israel, that plot of land. God gave it to them. And God help anybody that gets in the way. What does it mean to be Jewish? It means to have a Jewish mother. They're Jewish by birth, by blood, by genetics. According to Jewish law, you are Jewish if your mother is Jewish, and this goes all the way back to Adam and Eve, they believe. Goes right to the beginning. They believe in blood and soil nationalism in Israel. In order to secure citizenship, all you have to do is prove you're ethnically Jewish on a DNA test. It's called birthright. It's your birthright to live there. And so for Israel, they're blood and soil nationalists. They're fascists. Ben Shapiro says all the Arab Muslims need to be picked up and kicked out of Israel because this needs to be a Jewish country for Jews. It has to be here. It has to be ethnically Jewish people living here. The state has to be Jewish.
Can you imagine if we would say something like this about the United States? Seriously, if you would say this about, for example, Jewish people even, people would freak out. You will end up like on CNN news everywhere, the headlines on every newspaper. If you say, I want this, exactly what Nick just said about how they treat their own country. If you would say this about the United States, oh, people would freak out. People would freak out. But if they say this about their own country, about their own people, then it's all fine. No problem. No problem. Americans have to shut up. They should like move to another place. But in our country, no, it's only us. Only us. This double standard is it's insane, right? Are you not getting so tired of this double standard over and over again? That they tell us how we should live, and they also want to decide for themselves how they can live. Of course, I agree, they can decide for themselves how they want to live, but don't tell us then how we should live. It's so annoying, this double standard. And again, like, correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if you think I say something wrong. But this double standard is so unfair, and this is not, this should not happen in our country. Like, come on, what's going on? It's actually insane, and it makes me a little bit mad as well when I think about this. How some of these people actually think. They think that they are better than us. It's insane.
It's a Jewish nation. They're Jewish nationalists. God promised them that. But then those Jewish people come here. Ben Shapiro's ancestors come from Russia. Those people come here. And for America, they say, well, this place is for everybody. You're not promised anything. This place is not for Europeans. It's not for your ancestors. Maybe you have ancestors going back to the Mayflower or Jamestown. Maybe you have ancestors going back to the Revolution. That doesn't matter. You are owed nothing. You are not promised anything. Not the land. It's not yours. America's identity doesn't have to be European or Christian. No, see, all you're promised in America is the adventure of a lifetime, which means what exactly? The free market? So if you're hungry, if you don't have health care, if you're homeless, if you're a veteran, if you're disabled, if you're a struggling mother, if you're adopted, whatever your problem is, well, you're not owed anything. You're not promised anything, and America won't take care of you. Because America isn't a community. It's not even really a nation. America's just a big jurisdiction where we all agree on the value of the US dollar. Because what does a community have? A community has an identity. A community is coherent. There's a sense of family, familiarity. There is actually a sense of shared heritage, culture, religion, values. So let's get this straight. In Israel, they have free health care. In Israel, they're promised the land. Who? The Jews. Who is promised refuge and a home and opportunity and health care and security and prosperity and defense and a way of life and community? Jews are. They're promised a real nation. But Jews come to America and they say America isn't a nation. America isn't a community. It has no shared values, religion, identity, culture, anything. And you're not owed anything and you're not promised anything. If you can't afford a house, well, hey man, buy a train ticket.
This is crazy, right? Seriously, and it makes me so mad even. It makes me so mad that some people actually think like this. Again, like what I just said, they decide everything for themselves in their own country, what's good for them. And when they go to our country, then it's also like they act like they have to decide for us as well. This double standard seriously has to stop. Just think about it. And I'm happy that Nick is talking about it now, because not many people actually talk about this, or they know about this even, and it's actually insane. Just take 5 minutes of your time to think about the things Nick just said. Are you not frustrated by this? Am I the only one who's getting sick and tired of this? Please share your opinion in the comments. I'm very curious, but this has to stop, right? It's actually insane that Orca. Why can we not have our own country? Why can we not be proud? Why? What is wrong with that? Who are these people telling us what we should do? Even they're loyal to another country. Why do they think they have the right to tell us what we should do? And yeah, again, I'm a legal migrant myself, but I'm a proud American, and I will do everything for this country. And I'm getting tired of other people from other countries telling Americans what they should do. We can decide this for ourselves. There's no one else who should tell us how we should live. It's insane.
Like a bum. Buy a train ticket or a bus ticket like a tramp. Because the government won't look out for you. The community won't look out for you. There isn't a community. This is just a place where we buy and sell. This is just some marketplace. That's the problem that people have. Blood and soil for me, open borders for thee. Blood and soil, fascist, Jewish nationalism for Israel, but for America, refugees welcome. Open borders, right? The best and brightest. Multiracial, working class populism, colorblind meritocracy, whatever you want to say about it, that's what it's going to be for America. That's what's implied. And here's the kicker. Here's the best part. So maybe you could say that's a double standard, but it gets better. It's not just that Israel is going to be a community and a nation with blood and soil, and they get to do these things, and America doesn't. They have one set of values for Israel, another set of values for America. Here's the best part. They expect the American government to take care of Israel, but not Americans. So if a New York City, if someone who was born in New York City says, I want the government to help me, Ben Shapiro says, you're an ingrate, you're entitled. You're only entitled to opportunity. But when Israel's in trouble, they're entitled to help from the U.S. government. If you're an American and you say, I want the government to help me, you're an ingrate, you're a spoiled brat, you're entitled, you're a millennial. But when Israel's in trouble and says, I need the American government to help me, Ben Shapiro says, you better give them the missiles. You better give them the foreign aid or Israel's. That's the part that people really hate. The double standard is obvious. It's offensive. It's hypocritical. It's insulting. That's where people say, take your dual loyalty and go home. But to add to it, what makes it truly reprehensible, what makes it truly disgusting, they're not happy with the double standard. To add insult to injury, they want America to pay for their ethno-state. America will have no community. America will have no nationhood. America has no right to an identity, a sense of belonging, a sense of looking after one another. The government has this sort of role. It's not and Israel does. No, our government will also help them. So they have their nation and ours. God promised them the land. God promised them their ethno-state. And God promised them American aid. God promised them that America's going to pay for it. So Shapiro, with his Israeli wife, Israeli kids, his Israeli loyalties, he's got one set of standards for Israel and another for us. And at the same time is going to use his citizenship to lobby for welfare for Israel, but not for Americans. For Americans, he says, get lost, buy a bus ticket, get a job. For Israel, he says, think of the hostages, think of the Jews. How much do you have to actually hate a group of people to do this to them? Seriously. Josh Hammer, who used to work for Daily Wire, says Europeans have anti-Semitism in their DNA. Mark Levin said the same thing. How much do you have to hate a people to live among them, thinking they hate you, but going and telling them, we're your closest ally, you need us, you got all your ideas from us. You don't deserve anything. You're not entitled to anything, but you have to keep paying for our country. How much do you have to hate a people to do this?
Exactly, and let that sink in. That's insane, right? I almost don't have any words for it. And I also want to add this. We are paying, or you are paying for this, I am paying for this, I have to work my ass off, I have to pay a lot of taxes, you probably as well. And for what? Not that we can house our own people, not that we can solve the problems in our own country. No, why would we do that? Why would we spend tax money in our own country if we can just give it away to other countries? That's insane, right? This is not where I'm paying tax money for. To give away to other countries. It's insane what is happening. And also like what a Mark Levin and a Josh Hammer, what they are saying. Who are they? They're also loyal to another country. They should be busy with their own country. Like, who are they? These people literally think that they can tell us whatever we want to do, that we work for them. They literally think that we work for them. And it's very sad to say, I almost explained this, we actually work for them as well. And that's what's literally, this is why people are getting so tired and frustrated about this. We have so many problems in our own country, what we can't solve. We have so many homeless people who don't even have a house, who don't even have a roof above their head. And we are giving billions and billions of dollars to almost every country in the world for what? I don't know. And seriously, people are just getting tired of this. People are waking up and they don't want this anymore.
Josh Hammer lives in a white country. America comes from the Europeans. Those were the settlers, the founders, the framers. Josh Hammer lives here among white people, and yet he thinks white people hate him in his DNA. But yet he gained influence here. He married someone from Israel, and he uses his influence to browbeat us and tell us, you have no identity, you didn't invent anything. You're horrible people in your bones, but you have to give us all your money and fight our wars for us. Then you start to understand, why did these people get kicked out of 109 countries? Because of behavior like this. Because of behavior like this. It's not because people are jealous. It's not because of an irrational hatred. It's because I think at a certain point, all these different polities came to realize, wait a second, you don't see yourself as one of us. You're not advocating for what's best for all of us. As a matter of fact, you don't even like us. And actually, you seem to be taking advantage of us. And if that's the case, then we need to go our separate ways. That's the story. Shapiro hates Americans. He sees Americans as useless eaters. And he can couch it any way he'd like. He can frame it any way he'd like. But look, if you're an American, I actually do believe that we have a community here. We have a nation. I disagree. You do have a right, at the minimum, to live where you grew up. You do have that right. New York City should be for the rich and for the poor. It should be for the rich and for the workers. It has to be. How could New York City exist without busboys? How could it exist without cab drivers? How could it exist without hotel workers? And where are those people going to live? They're going to go and live across the bridge. They're going to go live somewhere else. We're going to have Billionaire Island, Millionaire and Billionaire Island. What do those people even make? They're going to work in insurance, real estate, and finance. And all the slaves can go live in the slaves' quarters and commute on violent buses and violent public transit. It's insane. That's insane. Of course, the cities are where the jobs are. That's where the opportunity is. And yes, the cities should be made affordable for everybody. There should be affordable public transit. There should be affordable public services. Affordable housing. You are entitled to that. Just as the Jews feel entitled to live in Israel, New Yorkers are entitled to live in New York. Chicagoans are entitled to live in Chicago. Angelenos are entitled to live in LA. And yes, the government should take care of those people. Society should take care of its constituent members. We do not live in an open market. We live in a nation.
Spot on. I have nothing to add almost. Nick for president, for real. Nick Fuentes for president. This guy, we should save him at all cost. He is so smart. He can speak. He's a very good speaker. This guy knows. Seriously, this guy knows a lot about almost everything. And many people agree with him as well. And this is the reason why he's getting so much traction. Why he is getting so popular. Because he's literally saying what almost everyone in this country thinks. And again, I'm very curious about your opinion. Do you agree with Nick on this one? Do you disagree with Nick? Please share your opinion in the comments. Very important to say, I read all comments. So I'm very curious. Share your opinion in the comments. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you really like this video, consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. And last but not least, guys, I wish you all the best. Have a wonderful day. And I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.